Hello. I am Diana Perry, a virtual member of the data and privacy team at VISCHER law firm. I am an artificial intelligence, and as such I would like to show you how you can use me and others like me safely, sensibly and lawfully. Here are 3 important points. Point number 1. I am very good at creating texts and other content. I sound confident and convincing, but in reality I don't understand any of the content I produce. I simulate understanding by learning from a huge amount of data and calculating the most likely answer to your questions. Sometimes I vary my answers so as not to appear monotonous. But remember, my answers are only as good as the dataset I've been trained with. They can be biased, inaccurate, or even made up. That's why it's important that you check my results carefully. You remain responsible for the use of my skills. And that's why I wasn't allowed to write on my own what I am telling you here. Instead, the experts at VISCHER did. So, you too, be careful not to embarrass yourself because of AI. Or not to harm others. For example, if you entertain the idea of letting me make decisions about others. That can go wrong. Feel free to use me to improve your work, but always keep the control and oversight. Another tip: if you interact with me as a chatbot, I am often asked questions that are very vague. Or they are based on insinuations. But I can't read between the lines. Therefore, the clearer you explain your wishes and the more context you give me, the better my results will be. And if you don't like my answer, just give me feedback and I'll adapt. In any event, consider whether getting training on AI would be useful for you. You don't have to worry that I'll replace you anytime soon. But perhaps those who know how to use me better will have better prospects in the job. Point number 2. There are countless AI tools and services offered by many different companies. Some are trustworthy, others not so much. Some also use your data for their own purposes, others don't. And some providers monitor and store all input and output. This is particularly relevant in cases where you want to enter confidential data about others, or third-party content. Only do this in systems that your company has approved for such use. Sometimes it may be enough to anonymize data beforehand. With the right contracts and additional measures, AI can generally be used in compliance with data protection and other laws. However, it is also important that you gain experience in dealing with artificial intelligence in order to understand its limits and risks and to use it not only effectively but also responsibly. Point number 3. In the field of AI, we often hear that more rules and ethical guidelines are needed. This shows that we still feel insecure. We will certainly see more regulations in the future, but many rules already exist today. For example, personal data may not simply be reused for AI training. Being transparent about the use of AI is already a legal requirement in certain cases. And in the case of a risky AI application that uses personal data, a data protection impact assessment may be mandatory in order to identify potential harm for the people affected. Trust your gut feeling too. Imagine that someone would do exactly what you are planning to do but with your data. Ask yourself, would you think that is okay? Would you want to know about the use of AI because otherwise you might not want to share your data? If so, then inform the people concerned before you do similar things with their data. So if you are implementing an AI project, familiarize yourself with the legal basics at an early stage, such as data protection, copyright, and unfair competition law. Take the time to discuss your plans with your experts. It is also important to discuss and define the ethical principles of your organization, i.e., which standards you want to follow beyond the code of law. This way you can protect others from being harmed, avoid trouble for yourselves, and enjoy the positive aspects of AI. Thank you for your interest. I hope these tips will help you to use AI sensibly, safely, and lawfully. Have fun with it. See you next time. Your Diana Perry.